So this
Good evening. Welcome to Emory. My name is Sherry Obrentz. I'm an Associate Dean in the Office for Undergraduate Education.
My name is Michael Toney. I also work in the Office for Undergraduate Education with Orientation. And we are really excited for your arrival and that you're going to be joining us in the fall.
So the purpose of tonight's session is to help you organize your summer. We're going to get ready for you to arrive on campus and want to make sure that you have done all the essential things you need to do to be ready for orientation.
Great. So tonight we're going to review our expectations for the summer. You should have already received a link to our summer checklist in the blue and gold pages. We'll be highlighting some of these can't miss items to help you prioritize. We'll also review some of the rationale behind the Emory Essentials that opened up today. Sherry, you can prepare for your pre-registration meeting and registration itself. Make sure you know how to prepare for move-in. All sounds fun, right?
Let's get ready to launch. So we're going to start off tonight by talking about our favorite document, the blue and gold pages. We affectionately call it the B&Gs, and it really is going to be your handbook for the summer. We've tried to highlight all of the must things that you have to know this summer to get you ready to speak Emory a little bit better and to know what you're going to get into both learning and living here on campus. So the blue and gold pages is a searchable PDF. It is not meant to be read cover to cover, although we have both read it cover to cover. So it's thrilling reading over the summer. And really it's meant to be a reference that you can go back to as you're doing your Emory Essentials, as you're getting ready for registration, and even throughout the whole fall semester if there was something that you want to refer back to.
Great. So Canvas is the next tool that's available. It's Emory's learning management system. So in other words, it's like a virtual classroom for your courses. Not every professor will use Canvas, but most will. And so one of the things we want to do for you over the summer is just to prepare you for what that process is going to look like. So some may use it as a placeholder for meetings and assignments. Others might post videos, discussion boards, and even exams. So this summer, your orientation materials for Emory Essentials we posted in the Emory College of Arts and Sciences summer orientation course. Emory Essentials, a lot of you all have been asking about them. They went live today 1 and 2. So those will help you prepare you for your pre-registration guide meeting in addition to advising and registration later on in the summer. So there's also links to other great resources there about registering for classes in OPUS. And you'll know you're going to have at least one Canvas course this fall with PACE 101, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So it's really great to log in there and start getting familiar with Canvas, create a profile and click around.
And I'll add to that, by creating a profile, you can actually upload a picture. That's really helpful for the PACE 101 class so that your facilitator will know who you are, but in future classes too, so you can stand out in a crowd. Your professors will get to know your name along with your face.
Definitely.
So the next tool we're going to talk about is called Assist, A-S-S-T. This is a scheduling tool that we use for a lot of different offices in the college, anything from advising to tutoring. Again, just like Canvas, we want you guys to have some practice this summer, and so your pre-registration guide meetings will be scheduled through Assist. You're going to get a message from your pre-registration guide this summer introducing him or herself and letting you know who you can sign up with. But Assist is a really easy online scheduling tool so that if you need to make that last minute advising or tutoring appointment, you can even do it at 3 in the morning. Not that we're checking these things at 3 in the morning, but you do have access to it. So again, not every office will use Assist for scheduling, but a lot of the academic advising and resources on campus will.
Next up, we have the orientation website. So this is going to be a really great resource in case you lose links or if you want to favorite things from all the items that we've discussed. And so it has great information for you, but also has information for your family. So keep checking this website for updates to the orientation schedule. We recommend clicking on first year students at the tab at the top, and that'll really guide you to everything you need to know on the website.
I'd also recommend for all of these sites that we've been talking about, just going ahead and bookmarking them, especially that orientation website. Sometimes the Emory websites in general get to be really big and overwhelming. So if you found something that's helpful to you, go ahead and bookmark it so that you can find it again easily.
Definitely.
One of my other favorite websites in the Emory stratosphere is the college catalog. So think of this college catalog as kind of your contract with the college. It's going to have all of the rules, the regulations, the policies that you're going to need in order to get started and to eventually graduate from Emory College. It also has the history of Emory, the college mission, and all sorts of information about academic departments. So if you're still wondering, am I going to be an anthro major, maybe biology or women's studies, or you don't know what any of those things are, you can click through the college catalog and read kind of a condensed summary of what each academic department offers. It also has a massive list of any course that has ever been offered in those departments. So as you're getting ready to prepare for what you want to take this fall or maybe in your first year, the catalog is a really great place to start. Oftentimes we get asked about policies or procedures or where would I find that or I didn't know. And I often say go back to the college catalog. So definitely a great website for you to bookmark and to go back to, especially if you can't fall asleep late at night. Good late night reading in that college catalog.
The last tool that we're going to go over before we get into some vocabulary is the course atlas. So this tool allows you to easily look up and learn about the specific courses taught this semester. So for those of you all that are really interested in what the classes are available for the fall, you can actually go ahead and check these out in the course atlas. So the neat features on this site allow you to search courses by department, by subject, by general education requirement, and also tell you if a course is tagged as a general education requirement. If there are prerequisites, so if there are things that you have to take or do before a course, then it'll let you know what those are. And then also have textbooks that are required in there as well. So the only downside is that it can't tell you if a class is open or closed or waitlist. And so you'll have to go into OPUS, and we'll talk a little bit about OPUS later. But it's a really cool way that if you know you want to take a psychology class in the fall, you can actually look up psychology department and see what classes are available. So we definitely recommend you checking that out.
The other neat thing about the course atlas is that departments have started to do a little bit of planning for spring 2018. So let's say that a class that you're really interested in is full right now. You can look under spring 2018 to see if it might be offered. Things might change, but still a good way to outline it. It also lists the past 2 or 3 semesters, so you can kind of do a little bit of digging, some research on to see, you know, this seems to be offered every semester, every other semester, so that you can get started on your planning too.
Definitely. So if you all have any questions, definitely feel free to send those in the comments. We have someone that is looking at those, and so definitely if you have thoughts or questions or anything, definitely feel free to shoot those out to us.
Yeah, producer Blaze here is going to pipe in if there are any good real questions throughout. So we're going to transition. We've just talked about a lot of tools, things that you should be able to bookmark and reference throughout the summer. We wanted to give you a little vocabulary background of how to speak Emory. We know we speak really quickly and sometimes throw in acronyms. One thing you'll learn about Emory is that we have a short name or an acronym for just about everything. So in your blue and gold pages are the B&Gs. There's a whole list of vocabulary or how to speak Emory, and we're going to go through some of our favorite Emory terms right now.
So the first one is first year versus freshman. So some of you all, they may sound exact same, but there are some subtle differences we want you all to be aware of. So first year refers to the entire first year at Emory and starts this summer. So as a first year student, you'll enroll, you'll register all at the same time for fall and spring. You'll enroll in PACE 101 and Health 100 as required courses for the fall semester. You also take a first year seminar, which you can take in the fall or spring semester. Freshman refers to your class standing. So students promote to sophomore standing once they earn 30 credits. Junior standing is at 60 credits and senior standing is at 90 credits. So you may actually earn sophomore standing in your first year, but you'll still be considered a first year student. We know that can be a little confusing, so we wanted to kind of lay that out for you. But we're excited for that class of 2021 to come in.
Awesome. The next acronym is PACE, which stands for Pre-Major and Advising Connections at Emory. This is really referring to the whole first year transition program. So it starts with orientation and all the great materials that Michael's prepared for you this summer. Our Orientation is Great program is our real kickoff when you get here in the fall, and then all first year students take what's called PACE 101, which is a transition course that the whole class of 2021 is going to enroll in. You'll be in small sections of about 19, and we have great content starting from how to read a college syllabus all the way to planning for your first summer after you finish that first year to get you really through the transition from high school to college so that you can be part of that Emory community.
Great. The next one is pre-major. So while we know a lot of you all have really great ideas about what you want to do and what you want to major in, many of you are still exploring, and both are really great and definitely normal for first year students coming in. It's important to note that we don't allow our first year students to declare a major in the first semester. So mainly because we know you have a lot on your plate, but also you haven't been in the college environment probably before, and so it's really important to explore all the different departments that are out there. Take a couple freshman seminar classes, or just take one freshman seminar class, and maybe you'll find something interesting. And so we want you to explore. But one of the things is that there will be plenty of time to connect with an academic department and declare a major. So until then, you'll be guided by a lot of people, both in the Office for Undergraduate Education and then your pre-major faculty advisor, who you'll be assigned in mid-August.
Yeah, and again, want to highlight it's a pre-major faculty advisor. So we hear a lot from first-year students, my faculty advisor is not in my major, and that's probably right because none of you have a major yet. So don't be alarmed if your faculty, your pre-major faculty advisor is someone who's in a department that's different than what you want to study. They can still offer a lot of great advice and really be just a good person to know as you're transitioning into the Emory community.
Definitely.
So the next one is the GERs. This is a really important one. It's your general education requirements. So Emory College has their own set of areas that all students need to fulfill in order to graduate from the college. Some universities or colleges have something called a core curriculum. That's where all first-year students would take the exact same courses. Emory doesn't have that. We like to give you a lot of options. It's one of the most amazing parts about coming to a liberal arts college. And so in order to fulfill your GERs, the general education requirements, you can do these over the course of 4 years. We have 7 or 8 different areas that you'll fulfill. So think about it like Trivial Pursuit. I'm dating myself here. We're going to collect pies in different areas. But the blue and gold pages outlines the GERs really nicely, how many courses that you're going to take in each area, and knowing that you have a lot of options within each area to fulfill it. So back to that course atlas, when you start looking for classes, you can actually search by GER, and it'll give you the full array of courses that would fulfill those each semester. It is really important that you look at the tags. So those are going to be the 3 or 4 letter codes that tell you if a class is actually a GER. So something like an HAP, a Humanities, Arts, and Performance, or an SNT, Science, Nature, and Technology. Sometimes a class you would think is definitely going to be tagged as something, but it's not. And so this is where you really have to check OPUS every semester to make sure what you think you're taking and what you think is going to fulfill a GER actually does. We say this in often, and we'll get to OPUS, but if it's not officially listed in OPUS, it doesn't really exist. So cross your T's, dot your I's, make sure it's there, and you will be on your way.
Fine. So one of the other things as you all prepare for course registration is to think about placement exams and prerequisites. So placement exam is an assessment to determine which level of course you should start with. So these are most commonly seen in our foreign language courses, although some other courses may require placement to make sure you're choosing the right course to start. A prereq or prerequisite is a class or a credit you're required to take or earn before you enroll in a later course. These are often found in sequence courses or before upper level courses. Recommend that you check the course atlas again to see if a course you're interested in taking has a prerequisite. One of the major assessments a lot of you all will take is the Emory Chemistry Prep, or ECP. So it's neither a placement exam nor a prereq course, but it is, however, a requirement to complete if you're going to take Chemistry 150, which is the introductory chemistry course in the fall. So this online prep tool helps all students review or learn the basic skills needed to start Chem 150.
And we know a few hundred of you are going to be taking chemistry this fall, so that's, as Michael mentioned, a lot of you might do that too. And then the last of our Speak Emory kind of tour tonight is the OUE, the Office for Undergraduate Education. We don't call it OUE, we do call it OUE. And you can think of us as your academic affairs. So we're a pretty big office on campus that helps from everything from orientation all the way to graduation. We really want to make sure that you are moving through the system, that you're getting connected to resources, and that you are connecting with great opportunities to be the very best that you can be while you're here. We're kind of like your home base when you get to the college, and so if you're lost or not sure where to go, OUE is always a great place to start so that we can then refer you back out.
Cool. All right, so we went through a lot of vocabulary there. We went through kind of the tools that are available. So if you have any questions about things that you heard, definitely feel free to use the comments and let us know that. But what we'll do is we'll start talking about OPUS next, unless we have something come through.
We do. We were wondering, how do we transfer AP credits? And what are the details surrounding?
Great question. You want me to take it?
You got it.
Okay. So at Emory, you can bring in up to 24 credits of AP, IB, or other college credits. If you have AP or IB, you're going to have to contact the College Board for AP or the International Baccalaureate Office and have those scores sent directly to the Office of Admission. I also know that there is definitely directions in the blue and gold pages about how to do this. The sooner that you get those in, the better, because some of your AP courses will count for credits or prerequisites. So you want to see if you can get those classes posted before you register August 7th. If you can't get them in by that time and you just want to get them in before the end of Add Drop Swap, that works as well. You have to get all AP or IB credits in by the end of your first semester, and that way you can have a lot of choices there too. If you didn't have any AP or IB credits, don't worry about it. I think a lot of students don't come in with any of those. But if you did have those credits, even if you don't think you're going to use them, go ahead and submit to the Office of Admission. You never know if you need a GER or some other credits later. But the blue and gold pages have the directions and the list of what we accept for AP and IB credits posted.
Great. Any other questions? We're good for right now?
We're good for right now. We have one more about placement test requirements. I know y'all kind of touched on that, but if you just want to expand a little bit on what those might be.
Sure. So as Michael mentioned for placement, most of the courses that might have a placement exam are foreign language classes, and that's really to make sure that you're being placed in the right level. Even if you've never taken a class before, and in the blue and gold pages, it will tell you specifically for the languages which courses have a placement exam or not. If you decide that you want to wait and take your languages, maybe in your sophomore or junior year, that's okay as well. But for those of you who are interested in studying language or maybe going abroad and doing some languages, go ahead and take those placement exams this summer so that we know where you'll get started. Besides that, it's really the Emory chemistry prep, which is, again, not a placement exam, but a tool that is required if you're going to take Chem 150 this fall. I don't know that there are any other classes that really have placement exams, so the difference would then be looking if courses have prerequisites. So for example, you can't take Econ 112 until you take Econ 101.
Right.
And the course atlas will have in the descriptions whether or not classes actually have prerequisites.
Definitely. And a little shout out for the languages. We always talk about placement tests, but one of the really cool things about languages is the community that you build in the classroom, that you're all kind of in this learning a new language and a culture together. So we definitely encourage you. It's a requirement. We also encourage you to really invest the time that you do for the languages.
Yeah, and our language departments did some really cool videos about why you should be interested in things like Tibet or Persian,
right.
or Spanish and French are awesome too. But I think almost every language did a little snippet video. So click on those in the blue and gold pages and see all about the languages that we have to offer.
Definitely.
While we're on languages, we did have a question about how long are we required to take a language course to fulfill the GER?
Yeah, so you have to take 2 semesters of one language, and the second semester has to be at a higher level than the first semester. So if you come in with any AP or IB credit, usually that's at the 100 level, you might get placed at a 102, you might actually get placed at a 300 level, and so that's where talking to the department or taking a placement exam is really going to help. If you're coming in brand new, usually you'll take a 101 and a 102. Again, just the second semester has to be at a higher level than the first semester. Doesn't mean that they always have to be back-to-back semesters. So some people might start something one fall and then get a little busy and pick something up the next summer or later on. But as long as that second semester is at a higher level, you're good.
Great.
One other thing I just remembered about foreign languages is that it cannot be in your native tongue or your native language that you grew up speaking at home. So that should have been indicated on your application here to Emory. We have those notes already, but not to worry, there are lots of language options out there.
Definitely.
Will students be able to know which language classes they're placed in before registering?
We're hoping so. So yeah, if you've taken a placement exam, we encourage you to take them early. We do have some faculty who are working over the summer. Every language is going to be a little bit different, and some of our faculty are actually studying abroad right now or with other students doing that. So the earlier you get it in, the better. If not, there will be some time within August or that first week of Add Drop Swap to get placed into the right class.
Definitely.
Cool.
Great. Thank you all.
Good questions.
So the next thing we're going to talk about is OPUS. So hopefully you all have already kind of met OPUS a little bit. You've explored all the things and the features that are there, but you're not going to go many weeks at Emory without logging into OPUS. Sherry logs into OPUS 15 to 20 times a day.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit less than that, but definitely I am always using OPUS really on a daily basis. It's the university's official record center. So it has all sorts of important information and official information about you. It's where you'll set up your email, A lot of you all have had questions about what your email address is, and so it's located in your student center. You can update your home addresses, your phone numbers, register for classes, and pay your tuition bills. It's also where you're going to see your enrollment dates and times, your schedule, and get the complete details from your faculty, your pre-major faculty advisor, and check to see if there are any holds or to-do items you need to complete. Finally, it's where you're going to check your degree progress and your degree audit every semester. One of the things we want to make sure you all are doing is taking ownership of your education. The degree audit will really help you do that and making sure that you're completing general education requirements and also major requirements to fulfill a degree here. So it's really important that you click through OPUS and don't ignore anything you see in red. If you see red, you really need to address it. It may have an impact on you registering for classes or doing anything that you need to do on an official basis. Since you're on your computer now, we recommend that you go ahead and log into OPUS so you can see all those tabs. Explore the Student Center. The Student Center is really going to be your home base in OPUS. It has your student ID number there. If you're interested in what that is, your email address is down at the bottom. You can also log into your Emory email through OPUS as well.
Yeah, OPUS is going to be a really good friend, and we are always shocked about how many seniors who don't know all the tricks and trades of OPUS. So we hope that you guys get clicking early this summer. And if you have questions about it, your pre-registration guide later this summer will have access to your screen as well, and so can help you navigate some of those most commonly used tabs.
Great.
Speaking of OPUS, we have one question. Wondering if you can change your password to OPUS.
Absolutely. There should be directions. If you know, we didn't talk about this. Google should be actually your best friend online. So Googling Emory OPUS or Emory OPUS change password, those directions should come up. I do believe that they're also in the blue and gold pages. There's a section about kind of your net ID and changing your password. So yes, you absolutely should be able to do that. I know we're required to change our password, I think, once every 12 months.
Yeah.
And so you'll memorize it. You use your net ID and your login for OPUS, your email, a lot of other things. It's one net ID, one login email. So it should be something you can remember.
Right. Make sure you remember your password. It's important.
Yeah.
So the last thing that we're going to do before taking any more questions is really give you all an overview of the advising registration process. It's out there, the information is out there, but sometimes we know it's just helpful for us to break it down a little bit. So at the end of the summer, before you arrive for orientation, you're going to enroll in 12 to 19 credits. So before you do that, there are some activities and some responsibilities that you need to complete before you get ready for this process.
Yeah. The first one is completing Emory Essentials 1, which went live just today. And this is really going to help you navigate the blue and gold pages and answer some questions, do a little bit of research on your own that's going to start to get you ready for registration. You are then going to schedule an appointment with an OUE, so people in our office, the Office for Undergraduate Education, with what we call a pre-registration guide. And this professional is going to be able to kind of walk you through what a good balanced schedule looks like, you know, whether or not your AP or IB credits are going to come in and what they're going to count for, just verify that with you. Also just what a good balance looks like so that you're not taking, you know, all your classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which might sound really great.
It's not great.
It's not great. Once you have 4 tests of the same day every 3 weeks, not so great. So the pre-registration guide is really there to help you kind of pick and choose smartly before you register on August 7th. A few things that we really want you to know before you make that pre-registration guide appointment. Actually, you can schedule the appointment before you actually speak to someone. Know your AP IB scores, know what those are, and hopefully you've already submitted them to the Office of Admission. So that's good step one. If you've taken any other college courses at any other university, whether that was through dual enrollment or just because you got an early jump, maybe one of the summers, make sure you send in all those transcripts as well. The Office of Admission will evaluate those. The second thing you need to know, and we talked about this a little already, is whether or not the classes that you need will have placement exams or prerequisites. So again, the course atlas will give you the details about prerequisites, and the languages and the chemistry are the ones that you need to look out for placement exams.
So we also recommend, obviously, that you review this course atlas and start putting courses in your shopping cart. So there is a date in July, and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get it wrong, but it's early July where you'll begin to, July 3rd, where you'll begin to you can begin putting courses in your shopping cart. We really kind of think of this as your Amazon wish list, right? So what are all the things that seem really interesting to you that you want to take in your first semester here at Emory? recommend putting them in there. One thing to note is that they won't update if the class has been open or closed or if there's a wait list for it. And so once you actually register in August, you'll need to go back and reassess and make sure all those classes are available to you. But you can begin putting those in July 3rd.
And there's no limit to what you put in your shopping cart. Same thing like Amazon. So again, if it sounds interesting or cool, go ahead and put it in there because you might forget and go, what was that class again? So
Right.
go
Make
ahead
sure you
and
remember
flag it. Yep.
Definitely. Be familiar with the GERs. So we know that it can be a lot of thinking of the tags and the acronyms and things like that, but we want you all to begin getting a greater understanding of the general education requirements. One, because they're put in place for a reason, but also to know the categories of what you can begin knocking out in your first and second semesters, and obviously knowing that you have all 4 years to complete the GERs.
Yep. And being familiar with them and doing a little bit of research will just make that pre-registration guide meeting a whole lot easier for all of us. So do that for sure. Finally, have a list of questions ready for your pre-registration guide that you have not been able to find yourself. So I think last year I talked about 150 or close to 100, maybe not that many, incoming first-year students. And the students who actually read through the blue and gold pages, did their homework, did their Emory Essentials, which will get you through the GERs and kind of other first year requirements, had really great conversations. The ones who didn't do that and said, I was just waiting to talk to you, we spent probably 20 minutes saying, that's on page 19 of the blue and gold pages, that's on page 23. And so we had a lot less time to really talk about their course schedules and the balance. So putting in a little bit of time, doing a little bit of homework ahead of time is going to make that pre-registration guide conversation a lot more productive. But if there are definitely questions or things that are not answered in the blue and gold pages or that you could not find on Google, have those ready and we will be happy to answer them for you.
Definitely. The last thing to note about the advising process is that the person you speak to over the summer is not your official advisor. So they're going to be really helpful for you, and hopefully you're going to have a really great meeting with them. But just know that your pre-major advisor will be a faculty member from Emory College that will be assigned to you in mid-August. And so you'll meet with them on August 21st, which is during new student orientation. You'll have a time to meet with them and really talk through your schedule and what you're thinking about during your time at Emory. And then you're actually be able to change classes if necessary during that time. But we just want to let you know that we have staff members that are available to you to help you, but we're not your official advisors, and you'll get that person in mid-August.
Awesome.
Great. So that's all the information that we have for you. We know we put a lot out there, but we want to open it up for other questions that may be coming in. And so we'll let Blaze send those to us.
Take it away.
Yeah. The first one we have is how essential is connecting via social media? I'm assuming it's towards kind of different outlets at Emory.
Connecting over the summer or once we are here?
Let's say both.
Okay.
Just go ahead and-
For social media, I mean, I think that we obviously know that a lot of incoming students are using social media. And so the Facebook group is a group that we will continue to post in and make sure that we have announcements in, and also just getting connected to other incoming students is really important. We know that it's not everyone's thing, and so there's not a requirement or expectation that you have social media. Just know that it's one way that we try and enhance the incoming student experience.
I'll add too, because I know that we've all been in the class of 2020's Facebook page for the last year, and it became a great place just for upperclassmen to post some really neat opportunities. Also, when people were going to and from the airport and needed to share Ubers or cabs, that was the kind of the place where people went.
For sure.
And looking for other things over the summer, housing and things like that too. So it's not the official Emory communication tool. We send a lot of official things via email because that's secure and ready to go, but I think a great way to connect with your peers and your class.
And we'll, from our orientation office perspective, we'll be sending out a lot of great content over the summer, student perspectives and videos and things like that to make sure you're getting all the information you need. So we definitely recommend that you get connected on social media if you can.
Yeah.
Awesome. A question kind of about GERs. We have students wanting to know if that's kind of a natural process in terms of completing that, or some more kind of thought scheduling should be put into that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it's both. And so you do have all 4 years to complete your general education requirements. But because they're so broad and you have so many choices, I think that they're really easy to fulfill. So I just met with a ton of seniors who were graduating this spring. Most of them had them completed, but maybe 1 or 2 by the time they got to senior year. And so depending on whether you have AP or IB credits that came in, whether or not you're going to take some things abroad or for a major, the nice thing about the GERs is that if you take something for a major or minor and it's tagged as a GER, it double counts. Eventually, you'll get to writing requirements. A lot of those double dip into other GERs as well. So they really are not hard to fulfill. What we don't recommend is avoiding something because you're scared of it. So if you think, oh no, languages, I can't do it, we wouldn't recommend waiting to the very last minute, but maybe thinking strategically about when you're going to do that to fit it into a semester where it works for you. Same thing. Writing requirements, you'll have to do 3 of those after your first year writing. So that's not something that we want you to take 3 in one semester. You probably want to space those out a little bit as well. But lots of options within the GERs. And so, you can learn from me. I didn't take calculus in college. There were lots of other math courses or things that did that MQR requirement, and Emory is the same way. You just have a lot of options within them. So to pick things that look genuinely interesting to you and that fulfill a GR, I think is a win-win.
For sure. Great.
We also have a question about a student that's not taking Chem 150 because they have an AP credit that fills it. And want to know if they still need to take the placement exam.
Great question. So if you're going to use your AP chemistry credit, you'll get credit for 150 and 150 lab, and then you'll be recommended to take chemistry 202. This is a lot of details that probably won't apply to a lot of people, so good to hold on for your pre-registration guide meeting as well. And the chemistry faculty will be around throughout orientation and throughout the first week of add-drop swap. So if you're kind of concerned about the placement or what to take, you can absolutely connect with them when you're on campus. If you're in doubt or you're not sure if you want to use your AP credit or not, go ahead and take the chemistry prep. That'll help us with other advising as well.
Definitely.
Switching gears, we have some questions related to how do roommates work and what is that process in terms of kind of, if you know, the ratio of random roommates to assigned roommates, what that looks like.
That's a great question. And we're actually going to host a hangout session with Residence Life a little bit later on in the summer. And that'll be a great time. I think it'll be after or maybe a little bit before roommate assignments go out. And so definitely hold on to that question until then. And then we can definitely answer that for you.
Yeah, I would say though that most people I don't think know their roommates coming in. Just a general rule of thumb. That isn't something I hear too often, but definitely the housing people will know the answer to that.
Last one, I think, for right now, unless we have some more. We have a question about foreign language. To that, if we're placed in a foreign language course that we feel is a higher level, can we take a lower level course or a different language?
Okay, so if you're placed in a language class that you think is too high, you have to go at least for the first few days within the add-drop swap period, and then you will connect with the faculty member to really discuss that level. So we know with languages there's a little bit of wiggle room, and the department will work with you to make sure that you are in the right level. You cannot decide to go into a lower level though unless you're approved to do that. So that's really important. If you decide that you want to start over with a totally new language, that's okay too. Know that if you complete one semester and then you decide that you want to do another one, you still have to do then a third semester, and you have to do 2 semesters of the same language. So it's okay to switch and it's okay to change. Some people really love languages and want to take a lot of different things, but you do have to complete 2 semesters of the same language in order to complete the GER.
Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for your time. We are really, really excited for you all to come to campus in August. We will have one more of these next week, and then we'll have some other hangouts with Residence Life, and then some in early August as we prepare for registration. So definitely prepare to join us for those. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out to the orientation office. Our number is 404-727-9000. Our email address is ec, as in Emory College, .orientation@emory.edu. We'll definitely answer your questions through that means as well. Last thoughts?
Happy Monday. Welcome to June.
Awesome. We'll see you all later.
Bye.
Bye.